Give me this day my daily bread. Forgive me all my trespasses, and lead me not into dismay. But let me pray upon the highest hill. Let me know the beauty of thy will, and from it let me not stray. But deliver me from negativity, and baptize me in your majesty, and christen me with a love that is free. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, when I realize that we are one, and only with these eyes do I see. Thy word is heard from mountains high, and valleys low through summer skies, and lands of war and lands where there is peace.
That song was written by a Unity minister before she became a Unity minister, Erin McCabe. She was a ministerial school the same time I was, and is now the village at Unity Village Chapel. So thank you for singing that. Did you hear that line? Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, when I realize we are one. Today's talk is Kingdom Keepers. So a few weeks ago, when you're a minister, from November until after Easter is just straight out ministry. And right after that is a minister's retreat. So I was headed out to that retreat, and I realized I had no light reading. All my books were related to church. So I said to my granddaughter Kayla, who is a Harry Potter fan like myself, and I knew she'd found another series after Harry Potter, do you have a book I can take with me to read? And she handed me 2 books from a series that she was reading called The Kingdom Keepers. And I got to the retreat, and I sat out on the balcony in the sun. I was like, oh, I can relax finally. And I started reading this book written for youth. And I got so excited at the underlying message in this book. I was reading things about imagination and belief and transformation and being a light. So the series is about 5 Florida teenagers who were chosen to become holograms. They were projected as guides through, guess what? The Magic Kingdom. So I started reading this, and I was connecting this word kingdom, because Jesus told us the kingdom of God of heaven is within us. And I realized that sometimes that kingdom within almost feels magical, because it's a place from which I can be anything, a place from which anything is possible. So something strange started happening to these teens at the beginning of the book. When they'd go to sleep at night, they would be transformed into their holograms, and they would cross over into the Magic Kingdom as glowing half-human, half-light beings. And they'd go, is this real? Are we dreaming? The message these books are sending to our young people reading them is a powerful one, even if they're not aware of it. It's saying, only when I fall asleep to the outer world, to my attachments to things out there, can I cross over to the Magic Kingdom, the Magic Kingdom within, where I become the light being I really am. And I might go, is this real? Am I dreaming? In Matthew 6:33, Jesus tells us, but strive first for the kingdom of God, and all these things will be given you as well. So we know Jesus was human and was divine. And I bet there were times in his life he probably felt very human. What do you think? But it didn't keep him from crossing over. It didn't keep him from incorporating his human self and his divine self. So we might say that Jesus walked between two worlds. And you know what? We can do the same thing. So the teens in this book lived a normal teen life during the day. They went to school, they played sports, they socialized. But at night, when they crossed over as light beings, their job was to stop a group called the Overtakers. Now, the Overtakers were being headed up by the evil Queen Maleficent. You remember her from Snow White? And the intent on the Overtakers was to steal the magic. To steal the magic, not only from the Magic Kingdom, the other theme parks, and then the world. Our spiritual journey is about walking between two worlds. Our human self that works, plays, and socializes, and our divine self, whose job is to stop the Overtakers that try to steal our magic, that keep us from entering the kingdom. So who are your Overtakers? Who's stealing your magic? Who's stealing your energy? And who or what is keeping you from entering the kingdom? After hours in the book, all the Disney characters come alive. Goofy, Chip and Dale, Jiminy Cricket. But not only the good, cute ones come alive, so do the bad, ugly ones. And what gave these characters life? The belief of the millions of people that visit Disney every year, that watch the Disney movies, the Disney TV shows. Who are the good characters in your life? Who are the bad ones? And who and what are you feeding with your beliefs? So the teams were summoned, they were transported to the Magic Kingdom by the last living original Disney Imagineer, who tells them, listen to this book. There's a fine line between imagination and reality. There's a power in belief, whether good or bad. And if I believe something strongly enough, I can make it happen. There's a Japanese folktale. And it starts with, it was a hot, blistering day. And the stone cutter, with hammer and chisel in hand, was chipping away bit by bit by bit at a huge stone. And the sun beat on him, and the sweat poured off him. And he looked up at the sun and he said, the sun is the most powerful thing in the world. I wish I were the sun. And in an instant, he was. And he looked down at the earth and he beat it down with heat and energy, and he caused everything to be hot. And he was so proud of himself, he felt so powerful. And then suddenly, he couldn't reach the earth anymore. Something was blocking him. And he looked down and there was a cloud. And he said, surely the cloud is more powerful than me. I wish I were the cloud. And in an instant he was. And he rained on the earth and he caused floods and erosions. But then all of a sudden, the cloud felt itself being tossed around. Moved without, and he couldn't do anything about it. And he realized it was the wind. And he said, surely the wind is more powerful than a cloud. I wish I were the wind. And in an instant, he was. And he toppled over tall buildings and bent huge trees. He pushed floods of water. He felt all powerful. And he swept through the world, blowing things. But all of a sudden, something stood before him that he couldn't push aside, that he couldn't blow over. And he said, surely, what is this? It's more powerful than me. And it was a mountain. And he went, the mountain is the most powerful thing in the world. I wish I were a mountain. And in an instant, he was a mountain, bold and tall, strong. Nothing could move him. And then far away, he heard this tap, tap, tap. And he felt himself being reduced, made smaller. And he looked down, and way down at its base was a stonecutter. What is more powerful than you? Do you give your power away by believing it lies in something in the outer world, something outside of you? Who or what is your sun, cloud, wind, mountain? Think about it. When something appears in your life greater than you, that's the time to remember who you truly are. That within you is a power mightier than anything in the outer world. If I believe strongly enough, I can become anything I wish. I can make anything happen. Ask yourself, how strong is my belief? In Matthew 17:20, Jesus says, you all know this one. If you have the faith the size of a what? Mustard seed. You will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. So the Disney Imagineer tells the teens, Walt Disney, had plans for this place that would put things in perspective. God has a plan for you. And when I realize that, it puts my life in perspective. Our ego's desire of more from the material world, of more things, more power, can never truly be satisfied. It's a reflection. That desire is a reflection of something deeper. It's a yearning to uncover our true self. It's our yearning to know the kingdom. Luke 17:21, Jesus says, the kingdom of God is not coming with things that can be observed, nor will they say, look, here it is, or there it is, for in fact, the kingdom of God is among you. So, one of these teens discovers, now they're half human, half light, he discovers that he can become all light. And it helps him over and over again through the book when he runs into a jam. Because you remember all these characters in Disney, the evil ones too, come alive at night. And they're out to stop the kingdom keepers. So here's what this book says this boy does. So he's got this danger in front of him, and it's going to kill him. It's awful. And he knows the only things that's going to save him is if he can become light. And so he breathes. He breathes. And he takes his attention off the outer forms, the outer circumstances. He separates himself from the doubt and the fear and all sensations, touch, sound, taste, smell, sight. And he imagines a light, and he lets that light get bigger and bigger and bigger until it fills him completely, and his half-human self disappears. and he can do anything. He can move through solid objects. What do you do when you face an overtaker in your life? A negative person, a painful situation. How do you react? Do you let it steal your magic? Or do you remember who you are? A child of God, half human, half divine. A power-filled light being. When we can remember this, when we can stop, when we can breathe, when we can align ourselves like we do in meditation with the divine, with that kingdom within, something deep within us starts to emerge. It's deeper than who we think we are. And a light fills us. And the appearances before us dissolve. Our person is still there. But there's a powerful light energy that starts shining from us. Have you seen people? Have you been around people like that? I have. And we let that happen. We let that God infill us. And you know what? We can move the mountains in our life, no matter what they are. If Jesus lived today, instead of calling it the kingdom, he may have called it a dimension. It's a place where we have direct, intimate oneness with God. The song Renee sang, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done." When I realize that we are one with each other, one with Spirit, one with God. As long as I see myself as a victim of the overtakers, of the outside world, of those negative events and people, of the forces, the sun, the cloud, the wind, I live in a victim consciousness that tells me it's no use. I might as well give up. I can't do it. Last week, Kathy Beasley was with us, and she said it. What would you do if you knew you could not fail? Did you think about that? Did you think about something you've always wanted to do and haven't done because you were afraid you were going to fail? This world is filled with overtakers. Negative stuff. Villains. We see it on the radio, we hear it on the radio, read it in the newspaper, see it on TV. We see the hurt, the grief, the anger, the fear. And because of it, our emotions seesaw up and down according to what we are seeing, reading. Now is the time not to feed our anger and fear, people. It's not what this world needs right now. It needs light. It needs an outpouring of peace that will spread. We can't win by exchanging one form of ammunition for another. By forcing our beliefs, the viewpoints of others, by the I'm right, you're wrong. Think about this. What beliefs are you feeding and growing? Are you giving the overtakers of this world more life? Now is the time for us to be kingdom keepers, the kingdom keepers we were born to be. Humanity as a whole is evolving into a new way of thinking and doing things. Humanity as a whole is moving into a new way of thinking and doing things. We're not there yet, but we're a lot closer than we used to be. So, you may or may not like some of the things that are happening in the world today. But unity teaches us that everything happens for a reason. We may not know that reason, and it may not be clear to us right now. But do I trust? That trust with a capital T. do I trust and know that in the future I'll go, that's what it was all about. Our job as kingdom keepers is to focus on light, is to be the light, to keep peace in our heart, and let that peace overtake the negativity in this world, the anger, the fear in this world. We have a powerful job, and we can't be swayed. We can't be blown around by the wind. We have to stay true to who we are. Deliver me from negativity. Christen me with the love that is free. We are the kingdom keepers, and we can move mountains. Renee.
But deliver me from negativity, and baptize me in your majesty, and christen me with the love that is free. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, when I realize that we are one, and only with these eyes do I see.
This week and from now on, remember your job. You're a kingdom keeper. God bless you.